didn't even stop to help the poor animal, and it was left on the side of the road to die. Some people thought the cow was already gone, and it put flowers by its body. But when these people came to pick it up, they realized that the animal was still alive. Although
Hey guys, how you guys doing tonight? This is Darren Jackson, and I am here to talk about the the Greater Houston area district teams this year. Uh, I did the predictions last night and some today for my page on my Twitter. My Twitter is Darren Jackson 25. So I'm on here tonight just to talk to a lot of people. Give you my predictions on some of the teams around the greater Houston area that I picked, and just hopefully not a lot of people get mad at me based on my predictions and some of the teams I think that could make a big step this year in 2022. I'm going to get my Dave Campbell Texas Football Magazine real quick. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that real soon. I'm going to try to get that order sometime about it this week. Like I said, this is no offense to anyone, anybody. I'm just giving my predictions on some teams that I think that could be a big step this year, and hopefully there are some teams that if I didn't say that they're gonna win district, I'm hoping that they do great this year. Uh, no offense to anyone or anybody, just my perspective of who I think going to win the district this year. Not saying that nobody teams are not going to be good this year. I just think that there are some of the greater Houston area teams that's going to be very good this year. Some teams that's probably going to have a tough time. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anyone, anybody. If that is the case, I do apologize to each and every one of you guys. This is just predictions. This is not me saying, "Oh, this team going to do this team going to do that." I'm just going to go down the line with all the predictions. Um, Starting out with 13-6A. I picked the Woodlands to win the district championship. Picked the Woodlands College Park to finish second. Conner Road to finish third. New Caney to be fourth. Willis fifth. Cleveland sixth. Oak Ridge seven. Grand Oaks eight, and Caney Creek ninth. It could go either way it goes in that district. It could be the Woodlands College Park. They could upset some teams. They could even upset the Woodlands, but I think the Woodlands. I think their offensive line is going to be pretty good this year. I don't know what they're bringing back. Like I said, I didn't get a lot of full details on a lot of teams this year. I'm just going by based on from last year to this year what teams is going to looking to be able to improve. I think that my dark horse team that's going to improve so much better this year. I think that it's going to be New Caney coming from 5A to 6A. Willis is the same way as well as Cleveland. I think Conroe is going to be very good this year. I would like to say Oak Ridge would be good, but I know it's that last year they had a downfall. I think that Oak Ridge is probably going to surprise a lot of people. I'm not, and I'm like I said, guys, I'm not trying to pick predictions by saying this team is better than this team. I'm just picking predictions based on the fact that I'm thinking that who's going to have a really good schedule this year, who's going to do good this year, who's going to be the team to watch out this year. This is basically just my predictions. Like I said, I know a lot of people are going to have their perspectives of what they like and what they don't like. When I take a look at the schedule for the 2022 season, 13-6A, I look at this district, and it's going to be very interesting. Hardest game that I think that the Woodlands are going to face off are the first two games at Galena Park North Shore on the 25th of August and hosting Houston Lamar. I think that with them getting into that district, I think that they're going to be okay. I'm not going to say that they're going to be 2-0 or 0-2 or however the situation may go, but I think that this could be a very good matchup for them for the first 2 weeks to see what they're going to look like. The same thing with the Woodlands College Park as they host Cinco Ranch, and then they got to go to Klein Kane, take on that Klein Kane team who's pretty good. I don't know where they're going to bring back as well because they losing Matthew Golden. They also losing Jadon Blue. who now went off to U of H and UT respectfully. Uh, but when I look at the district, I look at the district as like these this matchup on October 14th between the Woodlands and the Woodlands College Park. It's going to be a very great matchup. I think that that could be the deciding factor for the district championship. I don't want to knock Conroe out of the mix because I think Conroe is going to be another team we got to watch out. New Caney is another team we got to watch out. I think Willis could be another X Factor team that you want to take a look at. That could be a deciding factor on who's going to win the district championship from that area. Like I said, I'm picking the Woodlands to win it. Like I said, no disrespect to everyone and everybody. Um, just my perspective. 14-6A. When I take a look at that one, I take a look at Spring Westfield, what they're bringing back. I noticed that they lost Cardell Williams to graduation, but they also bring in PJ Hatter from Klein Oak, who transferred for his senior year at Klein. I'm sorry, at Spring Westfield. I think that that's going to be a very great matchup with Spring and Spring Westfield coming up in the near future. I think that those are some great matchups. This is my nephew right here, standing right next to me. I think that could be the deciding factor for the district championship. I know all the Aldine schools are going to be very upset with me on saying about those two schools. Decaney is another school from on the spring side who's pretty good as well. Eisenhower, I think that Ryan Nibick, the Texas commit, I think he's going to be pretty good. When I take a look at that district, I got to say that is going to be the most intense district I've ever seen in quite some time. I don't know if Nimitz, and I'm picking Nimitz at 7. So, guys, Nimitz fans, no disrespect to you guys. I just thought that maybe Nimitz. I don't know if they're going to have a good year. I don't know if they're going to get by teams like Spring and Spring Westfield. But if Nimitz really step up and it really show me what they got, I mean, I gotta say, I think that somewhere between 5 to 7, they could fall in that category. Uh, Benjamin Franklin, uh, I'm sorry, Benjamin Davis Falcons. I think that they're going to be okay. MacArthur should be okay. I don't know too much about Aldine so much, but I think that that district is going to be very loaded. 14-6A. Anybody in that district can win it. Who knows who's going to step up to the plate to take on who? That could be a very great matchup in that district. Besides Spring versus Spring Westfield, you got Ike who can match up well with Spring, uh, and then DeCaney can match up well with Spring Westfield as well as Spring. Um, I think that it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch in that district. The first 4 teams to get the I want to say the 1, 2, 3, and 4 respectfully that make the playoffs. They're going to be hard to beat in the playoffs first round. Even if they're not as good as I expect for them to be, they could surprise some teams. We know that Spring Westfield is going to be a very great team. Spring is going to be a very good team as well. Like I said, it between 3 to 7, it can go down in any kind of possible way. Who knows what can happen? Uh, 15-6A. I picked Klein Kane to win the district. I know Tombo made it to the state semifinals. I think that Tombo is going to be a very good team. Tombo Memorial should be a good one, a good team as well. Klein Oaks, I think that they're going to be very good. They lose out PJ Hatter. I don't know how good that quarterback situation is going to be. Who knows? I'm kind of interested in Waller. Don't know if Waller is going to be very good. I don't know if they're going to be on a down year. I don't know what the situation could possibly be. I think that this could be a Waller team that could sneak up and get that 4th place. Klein High. I think Klein High is another team that can get that 4th place as well. But Klein Kane Tomball and Tomball Memorial. I think that those three heavyweights are going to be something to watch. And when I talk about that district, I'm talking about some key heavyweight matchups in that district. When you take a look at these schedules, Klein Kane, they opened up the season hosting Summer Creek, and then the next week they host the Woodlands College Park, and then they have a third game hosting against Cy Falls before they get ready. Where they have an open week, and then they get ready for district. I think that Klein Kane versus Tumble Memorial matchup is going to be very good on September 22nd. Uh, but Klein Kane also finished the season at Tomball on November the 4th to take on Tomball. I think that Tomball is going to have a really good one. They opened up their season at home against Stratford, and that's another team that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. That's going to be very good. I think Stratford could be one of those teams in 17-6A that can match up well with Jersey Village, but we'll get to that part a little bit later. Tomball Memorial, they host, but they could travel on the Saturday to Pridgeon Stadium, take on Langham Creek on the 27th, and then they host Side Creek, and then they host Eisenhower before they have the open week, and then they have that district game at Klein Kane. Um, Dark horse team, I think, in that district could be Klein. I think Klein could be one of those teams that could be the dark horse team, as well as Klein Oak. Don't know too much about Klein Forest, as well as Klein Collins. I think Klein Collins could sneak in. I don't know. Waller, they have a tough schedule. They travel to Bryan, first game of the season, take on Bryan High, as well as they host May Creek and host Montgomery Lake Creek. But that district should be very interesting. Need to say more. I think that could go down to the wire of who wants it more in that district. 16-6A. It was kind of hard for me to pick who's going to win the district. I was thinking about trying to go with Cy Ranch to win the district, but I think Cy Woods may have the edge on this one. Bridgeland may get second place. I didn't leave out Side Park. I think Side Park probably could finish fourth place. I don't know about Side Falls as well as Langham Creek. I know Langham Creek has Jaquez Petaway, the Oklahoma commit. I think that Side Woods could win the district. It's going to be hard for this one because it's kind of hard for me to pick who all is going to win who. You never know who's going to win in that district. I think that this is probably the most competitive district that I've ever watched ever since last year when I was helping out doing games for Texan Live or helping out with the Chronicles. I think that this is probably going to be one of the most competitive districts in the Cy Fair Independent School Districts, 16-6A. I'm picking Cy Ranch to get third place. Cy Park could get the fourth place spot, but then again, who knows what could happen. I noticed that Cy Park won the district championship. They lost Harold Perkins, who's now going to LSU. Nate Livingston, who is now at I'm going to say Houston Baptist. They also lost Cameron King. I don't know where Cameron King went to or Connor King, but I don't want to sleep too much on Cy Park. I think that they're going to be a very good team. Cy Falls, I think Cy Falls is going to be another good team. If like I said about every other district, somewhere between three to seven or 3 to 8 actually, it's going to be kind of hard to pick. So I think that could be the deciding factor. Guys, if you guys have any comments or any statements on what I'm saying, please do so. Just hoping that keep it positive as much as you can. Not trying to be disrespectful to anyone, anybody, especially around their schools. Never say anything negative about any kids or anything like that, or any schools like that. Not like that at all. Just making my predictions on what I think could happen. Uh, that Bridgeland game against Cy Fair, first week of the season at the Berry Center, could go down either way it goes. um, I think that their toughest competition is going to be at Tompkins at Road Stadium. That's going to be another one. And then they have another matchup against Shadow Creek. That's going to be very tough at the Berry Center as well. Cy Falls has a tough schedule. They at Cy Creek at Prisian Stadium. They host Elise Hastings, and then they got to go to Klein Memorial Stadium take on Klein Kane. I think that Cy Park probably has one of the toughest schedules. The first three schedules are going to be very tough. You got them going to Spring Westfield. Then they host the second week against Cy Fair, and then they got to go to Planet Ford Stadium take on Nimitz. That's going to be very tough for Cy Park. Cy Woods, they're going to I want to say Road Stadium take on Katie Taylor. Then they host Fort Bandolas, and then they have a road game. I think it's going to be at Prisian against Cy Fair. Cy Springs is another team you gotta watch out. Uh, Cy Ranch, they have three heavyweights, potential heavyweights. So first two heavyweights actually, and then the third game against Site Creek. But the first two, hosting Tompkins and then hosting Paytow, that's going to be very tough for Cy Ranch. I think that's going to be some premier matchups that they're going to face off at the Berry Center before they make a trip to Prisian. To take on Side Creek, but then you take a look at the district, and the district is going to be very loaded in district play. I think that the big matchup for Bridgeland is going to be the game against Cy Ranch. I think that that's going to be a very great matchup. Cy Falls, I think their biggest matchup is possibly against Cy Woods. Who, then because you got to go through the juggernauts if you're Cy Fair Cy Falls. I mean, at Langham Creek, and then you host Bridgeland, and then you host Cy Woods. Those are the juggernauts. Um, Cy Lakes, which I put them as the last place team, which, like I said, I try not to be disrespectful to anyone or anybody. And if that is the case, guys, I do apologize about that. I think that Cy Lakes' biggest matchup is against Cy Springs. I broadcast that game last year. I thought that was a very good game. Um, the Spartans are looking to bounce back from last year. I wish that matchup against Cy Springs should go down to where it should go down to. Let me take a look at my phone real quick, guys. Okay, so I'm just taking a look at some things, guys. Just looking at what some people probably have said or tweeted. And I definitely would love for you guys to tweet at me and just chat with me. Let me know if I'm making some bad decisions on some predictions and stuff. I mean, I can take it. Um, just try to be as more respectful as I can be towards everyone and everybody. Just hoping that if there is anybody that want to make any comments about my statements on which teams are going to look good this year, I'm just going to go run down the lines of the schedules and stuff. Cy Park, I think that Cy Park is their biggest matchup is going to be against Bridgeland. They host Bridgeland, and then you got to then they host Cy Ranch, and then the game at the end of the season, hosting Cy Woods. They're looking to get that revenge back. I mean, last year they got beat in the first round by Tomball in the playoffs. The only game they lost in district play was to Cy Woods. Uh, I think they was a little too overconfident after the Bridgeland win. That could possibly be. I can't say it is or isn't. Side Ranch, I think that Side Ranch is the biggest game because it's against Bridgeland. It's going to be at Bridgeland. I think it's going to be at the Berry Center, more likely. Cy Springs' biggest game, like I said, is against Cy Lakes. But then also they got the home game against Langham Creek. That could be a very big one. Cy Woods, same situation. Bridgeland game, possibility. But I gotta say, the Cy Falls game against Cy Woods is always very interesting. And then you got Langham Creek, finally. Their biggest game, they open up the season against Bridgeland on the road at the Berry Center. I think that Langham Creek could be a team that could sneak up on some teams. I don't want to say that I'm making bad decisions on these picks, and if I am, guys, again, I truly apologize. Um, No, Terry, they're not paying me to do the predictions, dude. No, I just my predictions are just. Let me let him know real quick.
A little foxhound decides to help itself to some dog food, but instead gets its head stuck in a jar. Lucky for this fox, it stumbled into this particular person's yard. And now it looks like this little cub belongs to him. Just look at how this dog gets swept away by the current. It takes a whole team of police officers to get it out.
All right, so I just reply back to Terry Warren Jr. Uh, like I said, I think that I'm gonna talk about Westbury. I think Westbury is gonna be a very good team too. Uh, I think that they're gonna be a watch for eye as well. Um, but I'm getting back to what I was trying to say about that district. I think that district 16-6A is going to be very competitive. Who knows who's going to win the district championship? So, like I said, I'm picking Cy Woods as the favorite, but anything can happen in that district. Now we get to 17-6A. So here's the thing 17-6A. And I noticed that a lot of people are mad at me behind the fact that I'm picking Jersey Village over Stratford. I gotta go with Jersey Village on the upper hand for right now. No disrespect to Dallas Payne. I got so much love and respect for Dallas Payne. I think he's one of the best running backs in the state. But then you gotta look at that. You gotta look at the weapons that Jersey Village is bringing back. I mean, you got Adam Tran, who is the quarterback. Aubrey Carter, probably one of the best receivers slash quarterbacks, and one of the best athletes in the greater Houston area. Brandon Fan, who probably one of the best receivers in the greater Houston area. Roshan Estes, one of the best running backs I've ever seen in so long. Then you got to look at that defense, Darius Johnson and Chris Noble. I think that defense is going to be very good. The only thing I'm questioning about with Jersey Village is can Jersey Village not overstep their boundaries of not of overlooking some teams. I take a look at their schedule and first three games of the season. They at Crump Stadium taking on A-Leaf Hastings, and then they host Sango Creek, and then they host Cy Springs. I think that matchup with Stratford on November the 3rd, I think that's going to be for the district championship. I noticed that Jersey Village has to go to Memorial at Tully Stadium, take on Memorial. I noticed that they got to take on Cy Fair, and they got to handle their business with Cy Fair. I think Cy Fair is another team that's going to be very good this year. Um, I hear that they're going to be a very young team. I don't know if Cy Fair is going to make the playoffs. I picked them as third. No disrespect to Cy Creek. Brad Jackson. I got so much love for Brad Jackson. I think he's going to be one of the premier quarterbacks to watch out in that district. Stratford, especially with Nash Rankin, who is probably another premier quarterbacks in that district. Like I said about Dallas Payne, I think that Dallas Payne is going to be another running back who you got to keep your eyes on. You take a look at so much in that district. I forgot Quinn Johnson for Jersey Village. I'm so glad that he's back. Shouts out to him, man. I take a look at that district, and I gotta say that district is very loaded, dude. I don't know if there's anybody that's gonna match well with Jersey Village. I think that they're gonna have some great matchups. I gotta say that Side Creek game against Jersey Village could be another one. That could be a very good one. Uh, I think Brad Jackson and Side Creek could sneak in as a fourth spot. But then again, like I said, anything can happen in the first four spots. It could flip. It could flip flop around any kind of way. What does Memorial bring back? They lose Carson Zahn, that bad man. Yeah, they lose him. Cy Ridge, they're on the up and up. Spring Woods is a team that is looking to improve. They're looking to try to get back, and hopefully Northbrook can finally get a win this year. I'll take a look at this non-district schedules for all 8 of these schools, and we'll start out with, well, we already did Jersey Village, the first uh, 3 matchups. Stratford, they go to Tomball. I won't be too surprised if Stratford beats Tomball at Tomball. Then they host Oak Ridge, and then they go to Crump Stadium and take on A-Leaf Hastings. Those are the 3 matchups right there. And then you look at Memorial, they host Seven Lakes, and then they got to go to Pearland, and then they got to go to Klein. That's going to be tough for them as well. Cy Creek, they got Cy Falls, and then they got to go to Tumbo Memorial, and then they host Cy Ranch. That right there could be another tough matchup for those guys. Cy Ridge has a tough schedule. I mean, they host Cy Lakes, and then they got to go to New Caney to take on Nimitz, and then they go to Langham Creek, which that's going to be on a Thursday night. Very good matchup right there. Or I think that's on a Saturday. I don't want to misquote myself. I hate misquoting myself sometimes. I kind of do in some ways, guys, and I'm so sorry if I do. Let me quickly look at the schedule real quick. Let's see, 2022 calendar. Let's see if we can get to it, guys. I'm trying to get to it as fast as I can. September the 8th. Yep, September 8th. It's on a Thursday night. Probably more likely I'll be at that game to cover for the Houston Chronicle. But like I said, it's so much that we definitely want to talk about in high school football. I mean, all these teams that we're talking about, and you never know what can happen with the district. Like I said, no disrespect to anyone or anybody. I got so much love and respect for everybody. Just hoping that everybody gets a chance to see the video, that they'll be able to comment. I'm more than welcome for you guys to comment after the video. If you want to come in after the video, that's more helpful. Like I said, I'm just doing predictions. Like I said, I'm not getting paid for doing this. I'm just doing this on my video just to be able to go back and take a look in the near future and say, hey, you know what, I was right about this thing, or I can say, hey, I was wrong about this thing. 186A. This is a district that I took a look at, and I know a lot of Sam Houston fans are very mad at me for picking them in 5th place and not West Side. Westbury is the same way, as well as Chavez. And like I said, anything can happen in that district. I picked Lamar to win the district, even though 2 years ago Heights knocked off Lamar and won the district championship. I think that matchup between Lamar and Heights, when they get to district play, I think that's going to be for the district championship, or the inside track for the district championship. Lamar has a tough schedule, and it doesn't get easy for them. They travel to Beaumont, Texas, take on Westbrook. Then they got to go to the Woodlands at Shenandoah with Forest Bank Stadium. And then they host Clear Falls and host Pasadena Dobie. Those are the 2 schedules that they got to go through. And then they got the big game against Heights. I don't know if anybody is going to match well with Lamar other than Heights. And if there's any teams that said that they're going to be better than Lamar, I got to see the proof. The proof is in the pudding. Not saying that nobody is not good enough to beat anybody, because anybody can get beat on a Friday or a Saturday or a Thursday, Friday or Saturday, however you want to put it. Anybody can get beat by anybody. But like I said, I think that Lamar is the heavily favorite. Heights, they have a tough schedule. They got to go to outside of Waco, take on Claiborne, and then they host Cy Springs, and then they got to go to Humboldt, take on Kingwood, and they got to go to Clear Falls to make a trip before they have their home game against Lamar. I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Bel Air is another team that I think is going to be very good this year. That's why I picked Bel Air as 3rd in that district. No, like I said, no disrespect to anyone or anybody. I just basically took a look at the schedule, took a look at some of the teams in the districts. I think that some of these matchups are going to be very good. I think the biggest matchup for Bel Air is that matchup at Westside. I think that's going to be a very great matchup. The Heights game is going to be another good matchup for Bel Air. And then we got Westbury. Sam Houston is going to be a very good matchup for them. I took a look at Westbury. I'd say Westbury has some pretty good matchups. I mean, they travel to Madison, take on Houston Madison, and then they host Fort Bend Austin at Lamar's Consolidated, and then they take on Browserswood. Um, I think that Westbury has some key matchups that they got to take a look at and they got to face off. I think that they can sneak up and get that fourth spot, or either the third or the fourth spot. Any of those spots that can happen. West Side is the team that can do the same thing as well. I think that if West Side surprises me, I'm gonna say it like this. I would give them so much respect. But like I said, it's Lamar. Lamar is very tough. Take a look at Chavez. Chavez have I think the biggest game for Chavez is the first three games. If Chavez can go in there and get 3-0, even if they lose to Sam Rayburn, I gotta say if they can run the table and if Chavez can at least go, I want to say if they can go 6-1 and they run the table, even if they lose to Lamar and Heights, if they knock off Bel Air and go 7-3, I would give them so much respect. I mean, like I said, I respect everybody. But like I said, I got to see what's going to happen, guys. You guys got to show me what you guys going to have. You know, no disrespect. Like I said, no disrespect to anyone, anybody. Hey, it is what it is. But hey, who knows who's going to do good in district? There's gonna be a lot of teams this year that I'm going to take a look at this year and say, hey, I was right about this pick. I was wrong about this pick. Like I said, anything can happen in high school football. 19-6A. We're going to get to that district. Katy. I think Katy is the favorite to win the district. I think that they have probably one of the best duo running backs I've ever known. I think it's Dallas Brooks and Seth Davis. Um, Kroger is coming back as a quarterback. I can't remember his first name. I messed up. If I messed up his name, I'm so sorry about that. I think Gary Joseph's team, I think they're prepared. Yes, 2 years ago, Katy did not win the district. I give you that. Uh, Katy Paytow won the district, but Paytow lost to North Shore in the regional semifinals, while Katy ran the tables in Division Two, which in case Tompkins was in Division One and Katy was in Division Two. Katy ran the table in Division Two and won the state championship there. So a lot has to be said about Katy, even though they lost to Austin Westlake in the state semifinals last year. I think that they're going to be a very good team to watch out. Tompkins is another team that's going to watch out, even though they lost to North Shore in the regional semifinals. Um, Paytow, 5A Division One state champions, coming off that championship squad. David Hicks, one of the best high school defensive ends in the country. We don't know what school he may pick, whether he'll go to OU, Texas, or Texas A&M. I think that Paytow is going to be a very good team on the defensive side of the ball. What do they, what are they lacking on offense? That's the question that we need to know. Cinco Ranch and again that fourth spot. Gavin Rutherford, Seth Savarino. I think that those teams from Cinco Ranch, I think Cinco Ranch is going to be very strong. Who knows what could happen? This is a district that can go anyway, somewhere between 3 to 8 or 3 to 9, I should say. It could go anyway. And Seven Lakes, what are they bringing back? What about Katie Taylor, uh, Morton Ranch, May Creek, and Jordan in New School? Don't know what all they're bringing back, but I gotta say this matchup with Katie, when they open up the season, hosting at Clear Springs, I think they're going to take care of business. But that matchup against Atascocita could go down to the wire, man. I don't know what Atascocita is going to bring, but hey, I got to say that this is going to be probably one of the most competitive districts that we have ever seen in the Katy ISD district. I think that Paytown, with their first two games, hosting Conroe, and then they got to go to the Berry Center to take on Cy Ranch. I think that's going to be a very good matchup for them. Seven Lakes, they got to go to Memorial at Tully Stadium, and then they host Klein at Rose Stadium. That's going to be very good for them. Uh, Tompkins, they got to go to the Berry Center to take on Cy Ranch, and then they host Bridgeland at Rose Stadium. That's going to be a very good one. Uh, there's so much matchups this year that you gotta say, hey, who's gonna beat who? When they get the district, I think that the biggest district for Katy is the game against Tompkins at Legacy Stadium. Katy is going to be the road team. Tompkins is going to be the home team. And then Katy got to take on Paytown, and that's going to be another road matchup at Legacy Stadium for Katy. But can Katy get through those roadblocks of Tompkins and Paytown on the 10th and October the 6th? And then they have the opener before they get ready to take on Cinco Ranch at Road Stadium. Same thing with Cinco Ranch. Can anybody get through Paytown, Katy, and Tompkins? Those are the three roadblocks right there that I think that any of these district teams are going to face. Taylor, a couple years ago, they went to the state semifinals in Division Two. Uh, I know that they did not have a good team last year. They had a lot of young players that that they had to go through, and then the injury bugs just kept coming for Katie Taylor. Cinco Ranch. Can Cinco Ranch step up? Who's going to step up to the plate and knock out Katie? Who's going to dethrone Katie this year? Only time can tell about that one. 26A. We'll talk about the Fort Bend district. I think that Fort Bend district is wide open. Now you got Hightower, who's back from 5A to 6A. Can Hightower be the team to dethrone Rich Point? Or is there anybody that's going to dethrone Rich Point? I picked Rich Point to win the district. I think Hightower would be second. George Ranch would be third. And I think Fort Bend Bush could be fourth. Fort Bend Travis, fifth. Elkins, sixth. Austin High, seventh. Dulles, eighth. And Clements, ninth. But like I said, anything can happen in that district. I think that the biggest matchup for Hightower is going to be at Spring Westville. The first two matchups, actually, at Prairie Dawson and at Spring Westville. And then when they get to district, I think that matchup against Rich Point on the 17th is going to be very interesting to watch. And then on the 14th of October, they got to go to Richmond, take on George Ranch. Same thing with Rich Point. Rich Point, they open up the season at Austin Westlake. They got to take on the three-time defending state champion Chaparrals of Austin Westlake. I know it's that Cade Klubnik is now at Clemson. Tony Salazar is going to have his defense prepared, but who's going to run the offense for Austin Westlake at quarterback? That's going to be the biggest question right there. Then Rich Point got to go to Dickinson, and that's not an easy matchup right there for them. So these are some of the matchups that you take a look at and say, hey, who's going to win the district for this one? George Ranch, they don't have an easy matchup. They got to go to Richmond Foster to take on the Falcons. And then they host Katy Taylor. And then you take a look at a surprise team. The surprise team to me, I think, and like I said, is Fort Bend Travis. They could be a surprise team. They got to go to Spring, take on Spring High, and then they host Richmond Foster before they get ready for district play. As they open up the district play, hosting Fort Bend Hightower. Clements could be another team you can watch out. Bush is a very much team that I definitely want to keep my eyes on. But with that district, anything can happen. Now we're going to get to 21-6A, and 21-6A, that is Galena Park, North Shore, and those guys, Humble, and the Sheldon and Beaumont district. So kind of hard for me to pick, and I'm just going to say out the bat, who's going to beat North Shore? That's the question. Who's going to beat North Shore this year? We don't know who's going to beat North Shore. North Shore first 3 games, it doesn't get easy for those guys. But the Spring Westfield game is the big game. It's going to be at Galena Park ISD Stadium. North Shore want revenge from Spring Westfield after Spring Westfield defeated them 28-21 last year. Um, who's going to challenge North Shore for the district championship? I think that on the 27th, they go to Atascocita. I think that could be for the district championship. Atascocita, they got actually 3 heavyweight matchups. They host Dickinson. Then they got to go to Katy, and then they host a team from Nevada called Liberty. That could be a turnaround event for Tascasita. See how good they are going to be. CE King, they host Crosby, and then they got to make the trip all the way up to North Dallas to take on Allen. That's going to be very tough to CE King. I noticed that they got a kid who committed to Texas. I'm trying to remember his name. If I can go, let me see. Texas. All right, Texas Orange Bloods. I think the Orange Bloods. I'm going to say who is the kid from Commitments. There we go. The kid from Houston, not Ryan Nibbs. I think his name is Dylan Spencer. For CE King, yeah, Dylan Spencer. He is from CE King. He committed to Texas, and I gotta say, Texas has a very strong recruiting class this year. And in which case, I'll probably get into that before the end of this week. Um, I gotta say, C King could be a team that a lot of people may want to take a look at. Then they on the 9th they host Pearland, uh, Beaumont Westbrook. The first 2 games, it's gonna be brutal for them. They host Lamar and then they host Manville before they make a trip to Deer Park take on the Deers. And I think that's gonna be a very tough matchup for those guys. And then Summer Creek has the big matchup against Klein Kane. And I think that Summer Creek should be okay. Shouts out to Josh Thomas, who's the offensive lineman coach at Summer Creek. I think that this matchup with them against North Shore on the 7th could be a very good one for them, as well as the season endings at C King and then hosting Atascocita. I think those are some great matchups. Beaumont United, I don't know what they're going to bring to the table, as well as Humble. I think that, but that district could be anyway. Kingwood's the same way as well. That district can go any way possible. 22-6A. I picked Pasadena Adobe to win the district. I could be wrong on this one. Let's see. I did pick Deer Park second place. I think Deer Park had won the district if I'm saying that correct. Channel View, it's a third place team, and Sam Rayburn, that's a fourth place team. Pasadena Memorial could be the one to sneak in on them. I can't say yes and I can't say no, but like I said, anything can happen. Who knows who's going to win that district right there? The biggest matchup I want to say for Pasadena Adobe is the matchup at Dickinson. I think that is one of the biggest matchups that they're going to have to face, and then they got to go to Lamar. Take on Lamar teams, which I stated to y'all earlier that they're going to be very good. Um, Anything can happen in that district. As far as district play, I think that the Dobie versus Deer Park matchup is going to be a very good one. Channel View against Pasadena Dobie at Channel View, and then Channel View will have to go to Deer Park as well. Those 3 matchups could go down to the wire. District 23 6A. I picked Shadow Creek to win the district. I don't know if Shadow Creek is going to be good this year. I did say that A-Leaf Taylor is probably going to be the only A-Leaf team that can make the playoffs. But then again, if that's not the case, Straight Jesuit could sneak in and upset some people. Um, Pearland Dawson should be good this year. Pearland should be good as well. Don't know what Alvin is going to bring. Elsick should be okay. Hastings, I don't know how good Hastings is going to be. Hastings has a brutal schedule the first 3 weeks. They host Jersey Village. They got to go to Cy Falls at Pridgeon Stadium, and then they host Stratford, and then you got the district. And it's like it's a whirlwind district to where anything can happen in district play. Shadow Creek has some pretty good matchups. Uh, two out of the 3 weeks, I think Manville and then at Bridgeland that could go down either way it goes. Straight Jesuit has two great matchups after the first week, and Pearland Dawson. That game against Hightower going to be very crazy. Then they got to go to Tomball after the Klein Collins game. A-Leaf Taylor has some pretty good matchups, especially that Fort Bend Marshall matchup. It can go either way it goes. Uh, Elsick, same situation with Elsick. This district could be anybody's district, like I said. But I'm picking Shadow Creek to win the district. 24-6A. My prediction happens to be Dickinson. I don't know if anybody else is going to compete with Dickinson. I think that that it could possibly be Browsers Wood, even though I picked them second. Clearbrook would probably be like third. Anything can happen in that district. Uh, like I said, Dickinson has a tough schedule, um, as well as um, Browsers Wood. But anything can happen in that district. Not to say who's the best team coming out of that district. I mean, like I said, I did pick Dickinson to win the district, but like I said, anything can happen on that one. Now we're going to go ahead and get to Class 5A, and there's some district teams that I definitely wanted to talk about. And like I said, to a lot of people, no disrespect to your schools, your teams, or anything like that. These are just my predictions. I'm just stating some things that I'm just saying. Uh, 9-5A Region 3 Division 1. If I can get to it. Um, I picked I picked Sterling's to win the district. A lot of people say Galveston. This could be Galveston Ball's district right here. I don't know if that is the case or not. I did say Madison will finish third in the district, and then Milby fourth. I don't know what Waltrip is going to have this year. In Sharpstown, I know a lot of people from Sharpstown is not happy with my predictions, but like I said, guys, it is what it is. I'm just saying, based off of what I saw from last year, um, which, like I said, last year can change to this year. Um, I can't go by on what everything has happened last year, not entirely. And if that is the case, that some of y'all think that I did, like I said, I truly do apologize about that. Just stating the facts, guys. And we got a Houston Heights guy. Yeah. R. Lewis. Hey, like I said, man, you know, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to Heights. I think Heights is a very good team. Like I said, when I've spoken about them, I really think that Heights is one of those teams that you definitely got to keep your eyes on. Can they get by in the first round of the playoffs? I mean, that's been the question last couple of years for Heights. After they make the playoffs and then they get beat in the first round, those are the questions that's going to be answered. Can they get by? Um, I'm sorry, 10-5A Division 1. I picked Manville to win the district. I said Friendswood will come in second. it was hard for me to try to make the decisions on this district because this district has always been a flip flop. It is so much to where you never know who's going to win district for this one. Uh, you know, I want to see Friendswood win the district, and I was that close. I'm saying it, but then I thought about Manville, and I said Manville always has a good team. The first 2 weeks for Manville's season is going to come to a test. I think that the big game is on the 16th of September at Friendswood. Can Friendswood upset Manville? And I think Manville is going to be state ranked in Division One for 5A. Friendswood, if Friendswood beats Manville, can Friendswood have the momentum as they host Richmond Foster? That Angleton matchup against Friendswood has always been a rivalry. So who knows who's going to win that one? No disrespect for Angleton. I picked the Wildcats in the eighth place spot, but they can jump up to the fourth place spot. I was going to put them in fourth place, but then I thought about Rosenberg Terry and thought about how good that team can possibly be. So who knows? Anything can happen in that district. Uh, 9-5A Division Two. I picked Fort Bend Marshall to win that one. I think that for Fort Bend Marshall is going to be a pretty good team. They lose Chris Marshall to Texas A&M. They lost a lot last year, and for Marshall to get knocked out in the playoffs last year, the way they got knocked out, I was stunned. But like I said, they're going to be prepared. Um, I think that Texas City is another team that's going to watch out. Galena Park High should be good, and Nederland should be good as well. Willow Ridge, I think Willow Ridge is another team that you want to keep your eyes on as well. Um, then 10-5A Division Two, Brian Rudder is my favorite to win the district. I think Huntsville going to be bouncing back from a disappointing season last year. Brenham should be very good. Montgomery and Montgomery Lake Creek. I think that's going to be a big matchup right there between those two schools. 10-4A Division One. I picked Little Cypress or Mauriceville to win the district. I think that Livingston should be very good. Huffman, Hargrove should be good as well. Uh, I think Splendora could be another team to watch out. Uh, and then you take a look at 11-4A Division One. North Forest won the district last year. I think that Yates is going to be very good this year as well. Um, Worthing, I don't know what Worthing has, but they could be a very good team too. Furs should be very good. Wheatley should also be good as well. And then you take a look at Division Two for 10-4A. Sealy, I think Sealy is the overall favorites to win the district. Um, West Columbia, um, they made it to the I want to say the regionals after they blew out North Forest, and I was there at Delmar Stadium to watch that matchup. Warden could be another team that you want to keep your eyes on as well. So it's so many teams around the greater Houston area that is going to be very loaded. And like I said, I have so much respect for all these teams in the greater Houston area. I, and it's nothing for me to say, hey, your team's not going to be that good. Your team isn't going to be that good. I mean, I've seen teams who they had preseason predictions and say, oh, this team is going to be a fourth or a fifth place team, and they come out to be a first place team. Um, Guys, I hope that everyone have a great season. I hope that 2022 go down and where we have some Houston area teams this year that will compete for the state championship. I noticed that 6A, 5A Division One, 5A Division Two, 6A Division One, 6A Division Two. We get to the playoffs and stuff. I noticed that a lot of people are going to possibly look at the Dallas Independent School Districts. They're going to look at, I'm sorry, DFW, I should say. They're going to look at Austin. They're going to look at the Golden Triangle. They're going to look at so many so many regional areas. Houston has got to get it locked down, guys. If you guys out here in Houston, you younger kids, hey, you guys want to make a push to the playoffs, guys, get this city locked down. Let's have some teams around the greater Houston area to compete for the state championships. I think that this could be one of the premier matchups that we want to take a look at. We want to see what Houston is going to bring to the table. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up real quick. But I'm going to talk about some college football. Hopefully before the week is up. I'm gonna try to do it Friday if I can. If I don't, then I might do it Saturday, and then we'll just talk about the recruiting factors with Texas and Texas A&M and some other teams. But in the meantime, guys, this is Darren Jackson. I'm going to wrap this up, and best wishes to everyone in the greater Houston area. Uh, Best wishes to everyone here in the state of Texas. High school football is coming back. We're getting close to high school football, guys. Let's get it going. Texan Live, as well as Houston Chronicles, all around the greater state of Texas. Let's see some great high school football around, not just in Houston, but everywhere around the state of Texas. So, guys, you guys have a good night. Peace.